Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now May 14th of 2021, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2's finale, a lot of fans have really been looking forward to the future of the Star Wars universe by Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and others out there that's really going to come on board of this new universe moving forward. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Also, make sure to check me out at Mike01 on Twitter. Now, when we go ahead and examine what this new Star Wars universe has to offer for the next couple of years, Disney and Lucasfilm, they really do have a lot on their plate. Let's not forget that. They already have over a dozen Star Wars projects currently in the works, such as The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4, as well as Star Wars The Acolyte series, and let's not forget about others out there, like the reformed version of Rangers of the New Republic and more. Now, the Acolyte series is something that a lot of fans would come together to agree on, that this is something that they're not looking forward to because it's all Kathleen Kennedy driven. It's pretty much her residual plan for Star Wars that is now actually happening as we speak. You know, pre-production is coming to an end. As we approach this June is when they're going to begin getting ready to build the sets, and they plan to begin filming by this August. So this summer, you know, you're going to get a little bit of an idea of what the overall structure of that show is going to be like. Now, on top of this, what's really intriguing all has to do with Disney CEO Bob Chapek. Now, we do know that Bob Chapek, alright, has been talking very closely with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni on how the Star Wars universe really needs to move ahead. You know, of course, they know that a lot of it has to do with familiar characters, like familiar faces that a lot of fans grew up with in the 1990s and the early 2000s, so that's one way to go about looking at it. When we also examine this, alright, Bob Chapek also wants to recapture many of the lost fans. So now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are focused on their new Star Wars universe with shows like Star Wars Ahsoka and Kenobi, it's best described that creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are busy developing shows like The Mandalorian and even the reformed Rangers of the New Republic series. Now, it's described, however, that since the Gina Carano firing, many Star Wars fans have been unhappy with how Lucasfilm operates as a company and treats their employees, such as with the firing of Gina Carano. It's described, however, that in a recent interview, Disney CEO Bob Chapek was questioned about Gina Carano getting rehired and her firing. Bob Chapek at one point in time recently replied, stating in response to if Gina would be rehired, saying that this is something that I'm sure many Star Wars fans are asking and wondering about right now, to do with Gina Carano. While I would love to tell everyone and give them a fair answer, all I can say is that there is a possibility down the road of Gina stepping back into the Star Wars universe under certain circumstances that are to be made. Bob Chapek continues to state that many over at Disney still believe that her firing and getting let go from The Mandalorian was the right choice, but that he is fully aware of the backlash from the Star Wars fans, and that it has reached their attention when it comes to the franchise and how it will progress. Bob Chapek also made it clear that he will be meeting with Jon and Dave Filoni on this matter in the next couple of weeks to discuss possibilities moving forward, that it is a circulating question right now over at Disney if it's a good or a bad decision to bring her back into the franchise. Now, about the thing that's about to happen in the next couple of weeks between Bob Chapek, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni, this obviously alludes to the meeting on May 27th, which really isn't all that far away. We just got a couple more, weeks to go until they have that final meeting with the higher-ups over at Disney to discuss Gina Carano's return into the Star Wars universe. So here's the thing about Disney, alright? We do know that Bob Chapek, when he was caught in that meeting, alright, that meeting a couple of months ago where he was questioned about Carano, and when he was also questioned about everything related to Kathleen Kennedy getting fired and such, how he pretty much said that she would be around for the years to come. We've also heard and talked about how Bob Chapek was essentially put in a position where he couldn't really give his true answer on that, and that was basically a cover-up in a sense. We do know that Bob Chapek, at the very least and the very minimum, wants to create a legacy of his own when it comes to Star Wars, when it comes to the overall franchise in comparison to how Bob Iger handled it. Chapek wants to actually have a major impact on not just things to do with Star Wars, but also things to do with Marvel. So Marvel, they're doing a lot of big things right now with Spider-Man No Way Home. We've talked about this a couple of times before, that it is going to return to some of the fan favorite characters from the Sam Raimi movies, so that's another exciting thing. We can see that Disney's starting to step their game up with Marvel, and they're beginning to do that with Star Wars. Kenobi is basically going to be pretty much on the same level of excitement as Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, obviously Bob Chapek, it pretty much seems like he's got these mixed feelings about Gina Carano. He doesn't really want to give you a straight answer on his take on the entire, situation and how it was overall handled by Kathleen Kennedy. We also know that behind the scenes, Kathleen Kennedy is still working very hard on the Acolyte show with Leslie Headland. She is pouring her energy into that show to make sure that her legacy is going to stick around. So, the thing about Gina Carano, this is a very interesting development, and I've talked about this before in the past. If she is given the opportunity, I'm not quite sure or certain that she would even accept this opportunity. After how she was treated, after how she was name-called on Twitter by many Lucasfilm employees, including Freddie Prinze Jr., voice actor, I'm not quite sure if she would really want to come back, but the other part of me says that she would, to kind of fulfill or satisfy the Star Wars fans, right? To do it for the fans and not necessarily for a business one-up. You know what I mean? I don't think it would be like that. I think that, if anything, if she were to step back and accept this, if they are to agree on this on May 27th, then yes, it would be more for the fans per se. She's a very fan-driven actress. She cares about the fans. She cares about the Star Wars fandom. That's why so many people actually look up to Gina Carano. I mean, we see her on social media interacting with, people that do regular podcasts and stuff around those lines. She's that type of person. She likes to communicate with people outside of the Hollywood bubble, and I really do respect that. I do. I 100% respect that. It really does give you a different view that there can be somebody from that Hollywood sphere that can actually act like a normal person. And that's, I think, why Gina Carano is a symbol of hope for what an actress can be. So, it's all about self-respect too. Would she really want to come back on board? Would she want to do that? Would it actually kind of impact her own self-image as an actress and as a person if she were to accept this role again? That's the biggest question, and I think that if she is to hop on board, two things need to be made. Number one, a public apology by Disney. In fact, Dave Filoni, we talked about this, is pushing for this to happen and is urging Disney to do that by this June or July. Number two is that there can't be any more, Lucasfilm employees on Twitter trying to headhunt, trying to find ways to fire Gina Carano and trying to look for this and that. That can no longer be a thing. So, under those two things, Gina should come back if those are to be agreed upon. So, as long as they can do that, I think that they really do have a chance at her accepting coming back into the Star Wars universe as Cara Dune and really kind of just enjoying the role once more. So yeah, guys, like I've said before in the past, let me know what you think about the entire situation below in the comments. Once again, if you guys would like to follow me on Twitter, it's @Mike01. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think about that. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.